It started with a leaked grainy footage, blurred objects, and the distant voice of a U.S. Navy pilot whispering, "What the hell is that?" For years, whispers of unexplained flying objects UFOs were brushed off as fantasy or conspiracy. But now, everything has changed, because the United States Congress, in just talking about UFOs, they're seriously investigating them, holding hearings, subpoenaing witnesses, pressing Pentagon officials for answers. Why? What did the Pentagon actually see that was so shocking? It pushed the most powerful government in the world to admit, "We don't know what these things are." The moment that shifted public perception forever came in 2017, when the New York Times published a stunning article featuring 3 videos captured by U.S. military pilots. These videos, now famously known as Flare 1, Gimbal, and GOFAST, showed unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, moving at speeds and exhibiting behaviors no known aircraft could replicate. These weren't blurry lights in the sky. They were cold, hard evidence recorded by infrared cameras aboard fighter jets' military-grade equipment with no room for error. In the Gimbal video, a saucer-like object spins against the wind, locked in the fighter's targeting system. "There's a whole fleet of them," a pilot is heard saying. In Go Fast, an object skims the ocean at breathtaking speed, faster than any drone, defying known laws of aerodynamics. And perhaps most chilling of all, in Flare 1, a craft suddenly zips out of view, accelerating with no visible propulsion. What could move like that? Certainly not a plane, not a drone, not anything built by humans, or at least, not any humans we know. For decades, the U.S. government denied the existence of any such program. But then came the revelation. The Pentagon had been studying UFOs in secret all along. A program known as AATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, had been quietly investigating these sightings since at least 2007. Headed by intelligence official Luis Elizondo, AATIP operated from deep inside the Pentagon's black budget, tracking anomalous encounters and briefing top-level officials. But it wasn't just footage. Witnesses were reporting bizarre physical effects, radar lock-ons, and aircraft interference. Pilots described being outmaneuvered, jammed, and even followed. So, when Congress got involved, it wasn't based on idle curiosity, it was fear. Fear that these objects weren't just alien curiosities, they might be threats. In 2021, a landmark event took place. The U.S. Director of National Intelligence delivered an unclassified UAP report to Congress. In it were 144 military sightings between 2004 and 2021. Of those, only 1 could be explained, the rest, unidentified. That's 143 incidents where even the most advanced surveillance and intelligence networks couldn't determine what they were seeing. The report didn't confirm aliens. It didn't have to, because the implications were enough to rattle Congress to its core. Some lawmakers worried these objects could be advanced technology from foreign adversaries like China or Russia. But privately, many admitted a more terrifying possibility. What if they weren't from Earth at all? Enter David Fravor, a former Navy commander, and the man behind one of the most extraordinary encounters in modern military history. In 2004, during a routine training mission off the coast of California, Fravor's squadron was redirected to investigate a contact picked up on radar by the USS Princeton. What he saw stunned him: a white, tic-tac-shaped object, hovering above the ocean, moving with unnatural fluidity. It darted, spun, and shot upward in a blink. No wings, no exhaust. When Fravor tried to intercept it, the object vanished only to reappear at a cap point, miles away, in seconds. No known human technology could perform such a maneuver. It had no means of propulsion, Fravor testified later. No wings, no rotors, and it outran our F-18s like they were standing still. That wasn't the only case. In 2015, multiple Navy pilots patrolling the East Coast encountered craft hovering at 30 feet stationary in high winds, accelerating to hypersonic speeds, and then stopping midair. One pilot nearly collided with one. He was so shaken, The encounter was logged in an official safety report. All of this caught the attention of Congress. In a rare moment of bipartisan unity, members began pressing the Pentagon. What aren't you telling us? Hearings were convened. Intelligence officials were grilled. But what emerged wasn't denial, it was confusion. The officials admitted, we don't know what these things are. They weren't Russian. They weren't Chinese. And they weren't American. So, what or who were they? In 2023, the stakes were raised again. Whistleblower David Grusch, a former intelligence officer with the U.S. Air Force, stepped forward with claims that stunned the world. He testified under oath before Congress that the U.S. government possesses non-human craft and even non-human biological remains recovered from crash sites. Grusch claimed these programs had been hidden for decades, buried within defense contractors and special access projects beyond congressional oversight. We are not alone, he said, and the government has known for a very long time. And so, we arrive at the present moment, a world where the unimaginable has become policy. Congress is now demanding regular UAP reports. The Pentagon has created an official UFO task force, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office AARO, and new legislation has been introduced to force private contractors to turn over any exotic materials they may be hiding. But behind the hearings and acronyms, something deeper is unfolding, because for the first time in human history, our species is openly confronting a question once confined to late-night radio shows and science fiction. Are we alone? To the public, the idea of extraterrestrial contact still feels distant. But to the pilots who've chased these objects, to the radar operators who've tracked them, and to the lawmakers who've heard the classified briefings, the mystery is very, very real. And it's no longer just about curiosity, it's about safety, technology, power, and, perhaps, our place in the cosmos. Because if these objects are truly not of this earth, then we must reframe everything. Our history, our science, our future. If another intelligence has been watching, observing, even interacting, what does it want? Why reveal itself now? And what comes next? Already, sightings are increasing. More videos leak, more pilots speak, and the silence that once surrounded the UFO phenomenon is breaking. The taboo is lifting, the world is watching, and so is Congress. So, when they ask the Pentagon what they saw, it's not just a technical question. It's a demand for truth, a reckoning, because maybe, just maybe, something has arrived, or something has been here all along. The skies are no longer empty. The question is no longer if, but when we'll learn what's really out there, and perhaps, who else is already here.